I feel like it's a great honor to be able to present at Region 9 Family Engagement and Cultural Effectiveness Conference. Not only am I excited and honored, but I am delighted to be able to co-present with Wendy Lee, who is the director of the Educational Leadership Project in New Zealand. She is world-renowned and a leading expert on the learning stories approach. And what an incredible opportunity we have to be able to hear from Wendy, to learn right alongside her as she teaches us about New Zealand's use of documenting young children's learning called learning stories. So learning stories is such an amazing tool to use, and I'm really, really passionate about learning stories because my research has showed how learning stories used with Head Start programs can really effectively engage families in the assessment process. So basically, learning stories is a narrative storytelling approach to document children's learning experiences. And why teachers are so drawn to learning stories is because it's a really simple way to observe children, to document what their learning experiences are occurring, and to connect it to their current state assessment tool. So really, learning stories in our context, we can use it as contextual evidence or as documents to help us when we rate children and assess them for our Head Start performance standards. So one of the things that I have heard from teachers across the United States who are embarking in using learning stories along with their assessment tools is that they have felt like it has really created a deeper connection and a strength in their partnerships, and also a really strong sense of collaboration, because it's not only the teacher or the home visitor who are writing these narrative stories referred to as learning stories, but they're also, in addition, working with families and working with the children and with community members, and everybody is collaboratively contributing to the story. So what's unique about learning stories is it's not just an anecdotal observation, but rather it's writing a story to the child of what is observed. So it's in a storytelling format. And it's really a very, very powerful tool because it also includes not just the teacher perspective, but it can also include the child and their own perspective as the learner in the story. It includes family, extended family members, community, co-teachers. So often what you'll see in a learning story is you'll see multiple voices in describing that child's learning experiences. And even there's other parts to a learning story in addition to writing the actual narrative story to the child. There's also a component where it is a reflection, where the teacher is, or the home visitor who is writing the learning story, will also include the what it means or the significance of what they observe. So they're actually connecting and defining what learning is occurring in that observation. And then also there's a section which has, it's a kind of like curriculum planning. So there's a piece that is the opportunities and possibilities, which gives the teacher or the home visitor ideas based on that observation that they wrote or that story to the child. Then they will plan activities to further that child's learning. So there's different components to a learning story, which makes it so rich, and it just aligns right with the Head Start curriculum framework. And one of the pieces that is so powerful with the learning story is that it really supports the child's own learning identity. And so what we're going to do in this workshop is Wendy's going to teach us a lot, and we're going to learn about how learning stories were established in New Zealand as their national early childhood assessment approach, and how it's linked with the Te Whānaki, which is their early childhood curriculum framework in New Zealand. She's going to share a little bit about her work and with the Educational Leadership Project, where it's going to be hands-on presentation and participation. We're going to practice together. By the time you leave this workshop, you are going to know all about the components of a learning story, why it's important, what the research says, how it links to Head Start, and how you can apply this in your program. One of the best things that I heard, and I've heard over and over again from Head Start teachers and home visitors, those that are using the learning stories approach, that they have found that it has changed their assessment practice. It's changed the way that they have perceived assessments and made their job a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable. And what a great way to be able to connect with families and to honor their voices. So I really hope that you'll consider joining Wendy and I. We're going to have such an amazing, inspiring time together.